kicking off today's Combat Buzz Daily with a bombshell that has shaken the MMA world. UFC lightweight champion Ilia Topuria has announced a temporary hiatus from the octagon, stepping away from his title defense amidst shocking and what he describes as entirely unfounded allegations of domestic abuse and an alleged financial extortion plot. Welcome back to Combat Buzz Daily. Today, we've got a huge update involving UFC lightweight champion Ilia Topuria. We also have reactions from Paddy Pimblett, breaking info about an interim lightweight title fight, and updates on Tom Aspinall's potential boxing clash with Francis Ngannou. Let's jump straight into it. The news broke on December 15, 2025, when Ilia Topuria, known as El Matador, released a statement detailing what he's been facing: severe and unacceptable pressure and threats to disseminate false allegations unless financial demands were met. Topuria vehemently denies all allegations, asserting that he has never engaged in violence of any kind and views these claims as a clear form of extortion. He isn't taking this lightly. The champion has already submitted a mountain of documented evidence to judicial authorities, including audio recordings, written communications, witness statements, and video material. This evidence is intended to support legal action for attempted extortion, falsification of evidence, misappropriation of funds and personal property, and multiple threats. Due to this ongoing legal battle, Topuria confirmed he will not be defending his UFC lightweight title for the first quarter of 2026. The UFC, understanding the gravity of the situation and with Topuria's approval, has already moved to schedule interim matchups to keep the division active. This includes a highly anticipated interim lightweight title fight between Justin Gaethje and Ilia's longtime rival Paddy Pimblett, set to headline UFC 324 on January 24, 2026. Pimblett, surprisingly, has shown support for Topuria amidst his personal issues. In other heavyweight news, UFC interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall has publicly expressed interest in a potential boxing match with former UFC heavyweight king Francis Ngannou. While Aspinall admits he'd never be a world champion boxing and would focus on big fights rather than chasing titles, the prospect of him facing the Predator in the boxing ring is certainly a captivating thought for fight fans. However, it's crucial to note that a boxing match between them has not been officially announced or confirmed at this time.
Our top story today involves UFC lightweight champion Ilia Topuria, who has just released a comprehensive statement addressing his temporary absence from the octagon. According to a statement posted across his social media channels on December 15, 2025, Topuria revealed, "Over the past several weeks, I have made the difficult decision to temporarily step away from defending my title. This was not a decision I took lightly. However, when circumstances arise that threaten your personal integrity, your family, and your reputation, there comes a point when you must address them directly. In recent months, I have been subjected to severe and unacceptable pressure, including threats to disseminate false allegations of domestic abuse unless financial demands were met. These allegations are entirely unfounded. The truth is not a matter of opinion, it is a matter of evidence." This bombshell has caused major reactions across the MMA community. Many fans and pundits expressed initial shock and concern regarding Topuria's mysterious hiatus, but now, following his detailed statement, there's a growing wave of support for El Matador and calls for due process. Analysts believe that while Topuria is prioritizing his legal battle, his absence has undeniably thrust the lightweight division into a state of flux. Topuria emphasized that all relevant evidence has been meticulously preserved and documented, including audio recordings, written communications, witness statements, and video material. This robust collection of evidence has already been submitted to judicial authorities as he pursues legal action for attempted extortion, falsification of evidence, misappropriation of funds, and multiple threats. He firmly asserted, "Those who know me can attest that I have never engaged in violence of any kind, and that my life and career have always been guided by discipline, respect, and integrity." He concluded a statement by stressing, "The truth does not require volume, it requires facts." This situation will profoundly affect the UFC lightweight title picture, especially as Topuria has confirmed he will not be defending his title for the first quarter of 2026. The UFC, understanding the gravity of the situation, has already moved to schedule an interim lightweight title fight between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett for UFC 324 on January 24, 2026. The prolonged legal battle could lead to further complications for the division, with some, like Paddy Pimblett, openly speculating that Topuria might even need to vacate his belt if his absence extends beyond mid-2026. The entire MMA world watches intently, awaiting the outcome of these serious allegations and their lasting impact on one of the sport's brightest stars.
Dana White recently responded to the storm surrounding his past comments regarding a physical encounter with former heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou. as well as his remarks concerning Tom Aspinall's eye injury. White had initially claimed on the Flagrant podcast that Ngannou instigated a physical confrontation during his time in the UFC, alleging Ngannou grabbed him by the shirt and CBO Hunter Campbell by the collar during a heated dispute over a post-fight bonus. This accusation drew a quick dismissal from Francis Ngannou, who stated he was annoyed by constantly having to defend himself against White's claims and sarcastically suggested that White's office likely had security cameras. Addressing the ongoing saga, Dana White later offered a clarification on the Mac Life, attempting to downplay the severity of the alleged incident, saying, "Let me be clear on something too. When I say the physicality, it's not like Francis Ngannou came in here and threatened us or did anything like that. But as men, everybody who is a man knows there's these situations. I was leaving, he put his hand on my chest and said, 'We're not done talking yet.' And I said, 'Oh, we're fucking done talking.'" Dana seemed frustrated, especially when pressed about Ngannou's potential return to the UFC. He adamantly shut down any speculation of a comeback, making his stance crystal clear. "There was nothing that made me happier than throwing that guy over to the fucking PFL. Let me tell you what, if we let guys go, feel bad for the fucking company that gets them. We let them go for a fucking reason. I don't want to be in business with guys that I don't like and don't think are good guys." Transitioning to another controversial subject, White also weighed in on the criticism leveled at him regarding his initial comments on Tom Aspinall's eye injury after UFC 321. Aspinall had openly expressed his disappointment, particularly after White's post-fight remarks suggested there was no damage to his eye, and an insinuation that Aspinall didn't want to continue after an accidental eye poke against Cyril Gane. White has since justified his earlier statements, asserting he intended no derogatory meaning. He clarified that he was merely relaying information he had heard and emphasized that the UFC's medical staff is actively monitoring Aspinall's recovery. He clarified that he simply relayed what he had heard, insisting that, "I'm no doctor, I'm just saying what I've heard. I wasn't saying anything negative towards him." This whirlwind of responses from the UFC president has certainly fueled more debate and discussion across the MMA world. But while Dana is setting the record straight, monumental news has just dropped that will shake up the lightweight division. UFC lightweight champion Ilia Topuria, contrary to some initial speculation, has not been arrested. However, he has announced on December 15, 2025, that he is stepping away from the sport to address what he describes as entirely unfounded allegations of domestic abuse and an alleged financial extortion plot. Topuria revealed he's been subjected to severe and unacceptable pressure and threats to disseminate false allegations unless financial demands were met. He vehemently denies all claims, stating he has never engaged in violence and views the accusations as a clear form of extortion. In response, El Matador has submitted documented evidence, including audio recordings, written communications, and witness statements, to judicial authorities to pursue legal action. Due to this ongoing legal situation, he will not be defending his title for the first quarter of 2026, and the UFC has already moved to schedule interim matchups in his absence. Speaking of matchups, UFC interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall has recently expressed considerable interest in a potential crossover boxing match with former UFC heavyweight king Francis Ngannou. Aspinall suggested this could be the only.
Reports now confirm the UFC has officially finalized a monumental interim lightweight title bout, headlining UFC 324. UFC CEO Dana White himself made the blockbuster announcement during an NFL half show on November 27, 2025, revealing that Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett are officially set to clash for the interim lightweight strap. This highly anticipated event is scheduled for January 24, 2026, at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. This interim bout became a necessity following undisputed lightweight champion Ilia Topuria's decision to step away from active competition for the first quarter of 2026. Topuria initially cited personal reasons and a difficult moment in his life for his hiatus. However, on December 15, 2025, he released a shocking statement clarifying that he is dealing with severe and unacceptable pressure and threats to disseminate false allegations of domestic abuse unless financial demands were met. Topuria vehemently denies all claims, asserting he has never engaged in violence and that the allegations are a form of extortion. He has submitted documented evidence, including audio recordings and witness statements, to judicial authorities to pursue legal action, emphasizing his focus on his children and resolving this legal situation. With Topuria sidelined due to these grave personal and legal issues, the UFC moved quickly to ensure the lightweight division remains active, setting up this high-stakes interim clash. The winner of the Gaethje-Pimblett showdown will claim the interim championship and is expected to face Ilia Topuria in a title unification bout upon his eventual return to the octagon. Speaking about the interim title opportunity, Justin Gaethje, a former interim champion himself, expressed his readiness for the challenge, stating, "It's no disappointment at all. Interim champion is the same as a champion, on paper, contract-wise.
That's what we fight for. This is my job, and it's the biggest opportunity for me. Meanwhile, Paddy Pimblett has even speculated that if Topuria's break extends too long, he quote-unquote could be forced to vacate the undisputed title.
UFC lightweight contender Paddy Pimblett responded to the situation on social media, saying, "It's no secret that we don't like each other, but family and personal issues come first. I wish him nothing but the best and hope everything works out for him." This unexpected show of support was clearly aimed at his longtime rival, Ilia Topuria, amid the serious allegations of an extortion plot and domestic abuse claims that have forced the champion to step away from the sport. Fans reacted with a mix of surprise and appreciation for the baddie's unexpected compassion, marking a significant departure from their years of animosity that previously saw them nearly come to blows. Many believe this moment of sportsmanship, despite their personal differences, could eventually pave the way for an even bigger, more anticipated matchup down the line once Topuria resolves his legal issues and returns to the octagon. Meanwhile, another top lightweight, Justin Gaethje, who is slated to face Pimblett for the interim title, added his perspective on the upcoming clash. When offered training assistance by fellow contender Arman Tsarukyan, Gaethje confidently stated, "From my perspective, that was more of him trying to go against Paddy rather than help me. I'm not going to go and start making drastic changes in my training camps when it comes to getting ready for these fights. I trust the team that I have." This only fueled more drama going into UFC 324 in January, where Gaethje and Pimblett will headline for the interim lightweight championship. While Pimblett has been vocal about his own underdog fire, boldly predicting a finish against the highlight, Gaethje's response emphasizes his steadfast confidence in his own preparations and his renowned highlight status, suggesting he needs no outside help to prepare for any opponent. The winner of this highly anticipated bout is expected to challenge Topuria upon his return, making the stakes incredibly high for both men.
New reports reveal that UFC interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall has announced a significant interest in a potential crossover boxing match with former UFC heavyweight king Francis Ngannou. Sources say Aspinall believes this is the only realistic way for the highly anticipated matchup to happen, acknowledging that their careers never intersected in the UFC, and Ngannou has since transitioned to boxing with the PFL. "The only way I'm fighting Ngannou is if we do a boxing match," Aspinall stated, emphasizing his focus on major spectacles rather than a pursuit of traditional boxing titles. He's made it clear he's not going to be a world champion boxer, but is open to box some MMA guys in a boxing match for big fights, inspired by Ngannou's lucrative ventures against elite heavyweights like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. This strategic move capitalizes on the massive commercial success seen in recent crossover events, positioning a clash between two of MMA's most formidable strikers as a highly attractive and profitable prospect. Fans instantly reacted with a mix of excitement and skepticism across social media. Many understand the financial appeal, with online comments highlighting that boxing actually pays them significantly more than MMA promotions. However, some expressed doubts about the competitive quality of such a crossover fight, with one user questioning, "Why would we want to watch them box? They both are dog shit at boxing." There's also speculation about how Aspinall's vocal interest in boxing might be perceived by UFC brass, given Ngannou's own controversial departure from the organization. While Ngannou has yet to publicly respond to Aspinall's specific callout, his immediate focus remains on his scheduled PFL heavyweight title fight in 2026. Aspinall, for his part, has clarified that he still has 2 fights remaining on his UFC contract, and his primary goal remains unifying the UFC heavyweight championship against Jon Jones. This may not be the biggest story of the day, but it definitely affects the entire heavyweight division and reignites the ongoing discussion around fighter pay and the increasing crossover appeal in combat sports. It showcases a clear blueprint for MMA stars seeking substantial paydays outside the traditional octagon.
All right, fight fans, as we wrap up another action-packed edition of Combat Buzz Daily, it's clear the landscape of the UFC is shifting dramatically, with both immediate challenges and exciting prospects on the horizon. At the forefront, the lightweight division finds itself in unprecedented lightweight limbo, with champion Ilia Topuria temporarily stepping away from the octagon. Topuria, who has vehemently denied any wrongdoing, revealed on December 15th that his hiatus stems from entirely unfounded allegations of domestic abuse and an alleged financial extortion plot. He's taken legal action, submitting extensive evidence, including audio recordings and witness statements, to judicial authorities. This personal battle means we won't see El Matador defending his title for at least the first quarter of 2026, leaving the division open for an interim champion.
That interim title fight is now official. We'll see Justin Gaethje take on Topuria's rival, Paddy Pimblett, for the interim lightweight strap at UFC 324 on January 24th. Pimblett has already laid out an ambitious three-fight plan for 2026, aiming to win the interim, unify against Topuria, and then potentially face Arman Tsarukyan. The outcome of Gaethje-Pimblett will undoubtedly shape the division, determining who faces Topuria upon his eventual and currently uncertain return. The duration of Topuria's absence remains speculative, depending on the legal process, and there's even talk from Topuria himself about a future transition to boxing after his MMA career. Moving to the heavyweight horizons, the chatter around a potential boxing superfight between UFC interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall and former UFC heavyweight king Francis Ngannou continues to grow. Aspinall openly stated that a boxing match is likely the only way for them to clash, capitalizing on Ngannou's successful ventures into the squared circle. While no official announcement has been made, the prospect of these two heavy hitters trading leather outside the octagon is a mega fight that could draw massive attention. Meanwhile, UFC CEO Dana White has certainly been making headlines. Beyond securing a monumental 7-year, $7.7 billion broadcast deal with Paramount Plus and CBS, which will make all numbered UFC events and fight nights available without pay-per-view fees in the US and Latin America starting in 2026, White also addressed his past physicality remarks concerning Francis Ngannou. He clarified that while there was a heated interaction, it wasn't an actual physical attack, though he still expressed immense satisfaction in, quote, throwing that guy over to the fucking PFL, end quote. White also confirmed an unprecedented UFC fight card on the White House lawn for July 4th, 2026. So as we look ahead, the UFC is grappling with the uncertainty of a champion's personal crisis, while simultaneously setting the stage for a thrilling interim title fight and exploring lucrative crossover boxing opportunities for its biggest stars. The first quarter of 2026 promises to be pivotal, with major implications for both the lightweight and heavyweight divisions, and a new broadcast era kicking off with a bang. What do you think about today's updates? Should Arman Tsarukyan have gotten the interim lightweight title shot instead? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe for daily MMA updates here at Combat Buzz Daily. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.